You're not sure. I'm intrigued. Are you married or not? These are not difficult questions.
Remember when a movie about gossip, weddings, and hair appointments somehow turned into one of the saddest stories Hollywood ever told? Steel Magnolias, 1989. 6 women, 1 Louisiana beauty parlor, and a writer who locked himself in a room and came out 10 days later with a play about the worst thing that had ever happened to him. But the real story isn't what ended up on screen. The director told Dolly Parton she couldn't act. A major star showed up to her own audition unrecognizable, and the director didn't know who she was. And the woman playing the lead had just broken up with one man to fall in love with the man playing her husband. 16 more facts. And somewhere in this mess, a game of Pictionary accidentally created another Hollywood movie. Fact 1. Herbert Ross personally auditioned 75 actresses for the role of Shelby. Julia Roberts was the last one he saw. 74 women had read for the part. The casting director suggested a girl just finishing some movie about pizza. Roberts walked in at 21, completely unknown, with 7 credits. Ross announced she would have a truly big career, then reduced her to tears almost every day after that. Both things were true. Fact 2. Daryl Hannah disguised herself to audition for the role she actually wanted. Ross didn't recognize her. Ross had offered Hannah the lead. Hannah looked at Annal instead, the strange newcomer with no history. She put on glasses, rearranged her hair, and stripped away everything that made her recognizable. Ross said no, absolutely not. She said, "Please let me try." He didn't know who he was talking to. She got the part. Fact 3. Julia Roberts arrived on set dating Liam Neeson. She left dating the man who played her husband. Roberts had been with Neeson since filming Satisfaction earlier that year. During production, she began seeing Dylan McDermott, the man playing Shelby's devoted, patient, endlessly supportive husband. By the end of filming, they were engaged. The engagement ended in 1990 when Roberts met Kiefer Sutherland on Flatliners. 1 film, 2 relationships, 0 marriages. Fact 4. Herbert Ross directed Footloose, The Goodbye Girl, and Funny Girl. He had decades of Oscar nominations. The cast of Steel Magnolias could not stand him. Ross had real credentials and a genuine record of success. None of that helped. He picked the youngest actress for daily humiliation, told a country music legend she needed acting lessons, and was confronted by Shirley MacLaine, who told him his behavior was not respectful to his late wife's memory or to anyone on set. He had made Footloose. The cast still hated him. Fact 5. Dolly Parton's response to being told she needed acting lessons has never been beaten. 1 sentence. No pause. No. But it's your job to make me look like I can. MacLaine described what followed. You don't say that to Dolly Parton. She will cut you to ribbons. Parton's version of ribbons was a single sentence, delivered at normal volume. Then she went back to being magnificent. Ross did not bring it up again. That was probably the right call. Fact 6. Filming ran from July to September in Louisiana. Several scenes required full winter wardrobe. Dolly Parton never once complained. She also never visibly sweated. Everyone else survived Louisiana heat by holding ice against their wrists between takes, audibly asking for water. Parton wore layers, stayed cheerful, and apparently ignored basic human biology. Roberts. I never saw a drop of sweat either. Parton's explanation. When she was young and had nothing, she wanted to be rich and famous. Now she was, so she wasn't going to complain about anything. Fact 7. Robert Harling insisted the film be shot in Natchitoches, his hometown, his sister's town. The only previous Hollywood production there had been a John Wayne film in 1959. Harling's mother watched filming from the house where her daughter had actually lived. She sat through scenes she recognized. She watched Roberts play Susan dying in a place where Susan had been alive. She got to see Roberts stand up and walk away. The house is now a bed and breakfast. Guests sleep in the Shelby room, in blush and bashful pink. Fact 8. 4 of the 6 lead actresses in this film have won Academy Awards. The 5th was nominated. The 6th is Dolly Parton. Field won twice. MacLaine once. Dukakis once. Roberts once. For a different film, 11 years later. Daryl Hannah was never nominated for this one, which seems like an oversight. And Dolly Parton received her first Oscar nomination in 2023, 34 years after this film, for a song, not an acting nomination. A song. Dolly Parton is simply on a different timeline from the rest of Hollywood. 75 auditions. A disguised star, 6 women with 6 different accents, and 4 Oscars between them. A writer who insisted on filming in the town where his sister died. Up to here. who they were. From here, what it cost to put them together. Fact 9. Every character name in the film came from a real person in Harling's life. He has never told anyone who Louisiana is based on. Malin, a close friend. Shelby, his mother's cousin. Clary, a fabulous aunt. Weezy, his sister's best friend, who in no way resembles the character. Harling, I've never told a living soul who Louisiana is based on. I'm worried it might offend her. She has spent 35 years not knowing. Fact 10. The production had to import almost everything. Natchitoches had not hosted a major Hollywood production since a John Wayne film in 1959. 30 years earlier, Harling, the LA people required things that you didn't find at the local Piggly Wiggly. A crew of hundreds descended on a town built for neither film crews nor their specific dietary requirements. Natchitoches survived. It now celebrates the chaos with an annual Steel Magnolias festival. Fact 11. Nobody in that beauty salon was supposed to sound like they came from the same town. That was deliberate. Dukakis received an affluent plantation-style accent. Old money, civic lunches, the sound of someone who has never had to raise her voice. Hannah was given a rural twang closer to Parton's natural voice. Each accent placed the character in a different social world without a word of dialogue explaining it. Stern received no screen credit. Fact 12. The armadillo groom's cake in the film was not invented for the script. Susan Harling had one at her real wedding. Gray on the outside, red velvet inside. Harling put it in verbatim. The New York Times later credited Steel Magnolias with sparking the red velvet cake revival of the 1990s. Harling called that one of his great life achievements. He said it as a joke. He was not entirely joking. Fact 13. Harling wrote an entire film because Sally Field complained about her wardrobe at a game of Pictionary. After shoot days, the cast gathered every night. Games, food, conversation, the usual survival bonding that happens when you're all living in the same small town with the same difficult director. One evening, Harling asked each woman what role she most wanted next. Field's answer, I always play noble women in crummy clothes. For once, I'd like to play a bitch who gets to wear nice clothes. Harling went home and wrote Soap Dish. Field in designer clothes, playing exactly what she'd described. The film came from one sentence. Fact 14. In 2012, Lifetime produced a remake with an all-black cast. It pulled 6.1 million viewers. Their third most watched original film ever. Queen Latifah, Jill Scott, Alfre Woodard, Felicia Rashad, Condola Rashad. Same original dialogue, contemporary setting. Producer, the story's core themes transcend race. If it was all Latina, if it was all Asian, it would still be Steel Magnolias. A story about women holding each other through grief did not belong to one era. Fact 15. The town of Natchitoches dedicated a park to Susan Harling Robinson, not to Shelby. To Susan Harling Robinson, Memorial Park has a fountain, benches, and a plaque with her photograph and biography, written by her brother Robert. Fans travel from around the world to Natchitoches. They visit the filming locations, the house turned B&B, the church where Shelby married. Then they find the park. They came for the movie. They find the person the movie was about. Fact 16. Harling wrote the play for a 2-year-old boy who would never remember his mother. He was terrified the boy would grow up and have nothing of her. Not a memory, not a voice, not a face. As a teenager, the boy told Harling not to worry. Everyone at school thought he was really cool because Julia Roberts had played his mother. Harling said it hit him like a ton of bricks. He had written something in 10 days, in grief. For a child who couldn't remember, it had found him anyway, not as a memorial, not as grief, as something to be proud of in the school corridor.